Good afternoon. Masela khiri. It's me, Lorraine, and today we are going to have lots of fun learning all about words and numbers. Al-kalimat u erchomon. Now, before we start, I just want to say a big thank you to the Abu Dhabi Early Childhood Authority for helping us to make this Parenting in a Pandemic and Beyond initiative a reality. So a huge thank you to them. Now, you're very welcome to send in any questions you have as we go along. You can just use the chat facility in your screen, and I will try and answer as many of those questions as I can at the end of the session. So a big thank you to everyone who was able to answer the question before we actually started. So I'm just going to share my slide and we can have a little look and see how, there we go. Okay, so yeah, thank you to everyone who was able to answer that question. And the question was, how confident do you feel about helping your child learn words and numbers at home? And we had quite a sort of mixed response, which is absolutely great. Just under half of you felt sort of fairly confident or very confident, and the same amount perhaps much sort of less confident. So I hope that wherever you are on that sort of scale, today you're going to discover new and easy ways to help your child learn numbers and words in an active way at home. So the aims of today are to help you feel much better equipped to help your child learn those words and numbers, but also to give you some top tips and lots of activity ideas as well to put into practice straight away. Now, something I just want to say really from the start is that it's really important when young children are learning words and numbers to really sort of go at your child's pace. And I think it's really important. We're very keen for them to learn and improve their numbers and their wordplay, but it is really important to follow at a pace that is comfortable for them. And if you can be flexible in the type of activities that you do, and we're going to be looking at some really quite different sort of activities today, then having lots of different ways to help them learn will be great, because you're going to learn and help your child really understand in a way, and that really is better for them, the best way to help them learn words and numbers, and every child's going to be different. Also, if you can link the learning to their interests, and a lot of people say to me, you know, I just can't get my child interested in numbers or reading. One of the key things there is to link that learning to their interests. And of course, it's got to be fun, hasn't it? And you know, when children are having fun, they really are learning. So that's my sort of 4 quick top tips there. Go at your child's pace, be flexible with the activities that you do with them, link the learning to their interests, particularly if they're not that interested in sort of learning numbers, and of course, make it lots of fun. So I'm hoping that's what we're going to be doing today. So I know there's quite a lot of you here today with your mums and perhaps with your dads as well. So we are going to do one of our first activities. We're going to dive straight in and do an activity. So I hope you're ready to do an activity with me. Now then, this is a very special bag, and this activity is called the talking bag. Now, I don't know how many of you have been able to prepare for this beforehand, but if you do have your own bag, you can play along with me. Obviously, I don't know what you have in your bag, and actually someone did this for me, so it's going to be a surprise for me as well to see what's in my special bag. But don't worry, if you haven't got your own bag at home, you can share mine, so that's no problem at all. So as I say, this bag is very special, and it's called a talking bag. And what we're going to do is I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to put my hands in and see if I can find something in there. So, oh gosh, there's lots of different shapes and sizes and different things. There's soft things in there and hard things in there. Oh, hang on, we've got something coming out. What's this? Now, can you see what that is? That, if I'm not much mistaken, is a glue stick. Okay, so that's the first thing to come out of my talking bag. Now, I wonder if you've got a glue stick in your talking bag. It'll be interesting to see, won't it? So this is something really sticky. Can you see that? It's really sticky, isn't it? A glue stick. Now then, the idea of this is, what else can you think of that is sticky? So can you think of something else other than a glue stick that's sticky? I wonder if you've got sticky fingers at the moment. Maybe you've got sticky fingers if you've been doing things with perhaps glue at home. So you might have sticky fingers. Might not. Well, actually, that finger's a little bit sticky now because I've touched the glue, haven't I? So what else can we think of that is sticky like a glue stick? Now, the first thing I can think of is what I had for breakfast this morning, and I had some toast and I had jam on my toast, and jam is really sticky, isn't it? So I wonder how many of you have jam on your toast. So that's one thing we can think of that's really sticky. Two would be sticky fingers. What else? You shout them out to me. And what else do you think? What else is sticky? Honey. Did someone say honey? Honey's really, it's very yummy as well, isn't it? Honey. I like honey on my toast as well. So honey is very sticky. I've got something here actually. Let's see. Now then, look at this. Sticky tape. Can you see that? Goodness, I'm going to get myself all stuck, aren't I? So sticky tape. Tape is very sticky as well, isn't it? So we've got quite a few things there. Sugar, anything sugary as well. So fantastic. We've got lots of things we can think of. So there we go. That's the first item out of our bag. Should we go back to my bag and see what else we've got? Come on then. Now I have got some, I can tell someone's put some quite big things in here as well. So I think, let me have a little rummage again and see. Or should I get, I think I'll get the big item out, not sure. Oh, now then, I asked my son, Ibn, my son, he's called Dylan, and I asked him to do my talking bag for me today. And look what he's put in for me. Wow. Look at that. He's put a car in. He's put one of his toy cars in for me. Isn't that lovely? So now then, it's quite big, isn't it? Now, the thing about cars is they've got wheels, haven't they? So here's the thing about the talking bag. What else can we think of that has wheels? So you shout out to me and tell me what else you can think of that has wheels as well as a car. A lorry. Yeah, we've got a lorry. That's right. What else have we got? A bicycle. Yeah, I wonder how many of you learning to ride at the moment on a bicycle. So a bicycle has 2 wheels and a car has 1, 2, 3, 4. That's right. We've got a motorbike. Yeah, we can have a motorbike as well. What about a wheelie bin? I wonder if you have wheelie bins that have wheels that whiz along as well to put your rubbish in. And do you know what? The chair I'm sat in, look at this. Whee! So my chair also has wheels as well. So we've got cars, bicycles, vans, wheelie bins, chairs, all sorts of things that have wheels in. So there, wheels on. So there we go. So that's our second thing. Do you think we've got time to do one more? Should we have a go? Let's see. Now there's lots of little things in here. Oh gosh, there's some quite sharp things and soft things. Okay, I wonder what's in your bag. Have you picked something out from your bag as well? Now then. Oh, goodness me, hang on, that's got, oh, look at this. I don't know how well you can see that. That is a little piece of wood. So there's a little twig, isn't it? Can you see that? So I think Dylan must have picked that up from my garden. Okay, so there we go. There's a little stick. So now then, what can we think of that is made of wood? So again, shout out to me. What can you think of that's made of wood? So go and run around, have a look around your house, see what you can find that's made of wood. Now, I don't know if you can hear that. That's my table. And that's the table here. This one's made out of plastic, but the one in front of me is made of wood. So there's one thing to start with, isn't it? What else? Is that wooden shelves? You've got wooden shelves. That's brilliant. Shelves are often made of wood. They can be made of plastic, but really good, strong piece of wood would be fantastic for a shelf. What else? Now I know I've got a wooden door. So the door in my office is made out of wood as well. So what you can do here is run around and see what you can find and knock and see if you can work out what the texture is. Is it wood? Is it plastic? But in this case, we've got quite a few things, haven't we? And also, guess what I've got here? I've got a wooden peg as well. So there's quite a few things, isn't there? A desk, shelves, a door, and a peg. Lots of things that are made out of wood. Now, this is a great activity, mums and dads, and one of the best pieces of top tips I can give you really is to always keep your talking bag handy. So you can take this on a car journey, you can take it to a restaurant, and it's a great way to keep children occupied and get them thinking about lots of different things and textures and things like that. And if you're playing this at home, you can make it a really active game by, you know, getting them to run around and see if they can find things that have got wheels on and so on. And some of the other things you could do, let's have a look and see what else we've got in here. Oh gosh, right, okay, we've got a pencil. So what we're going to ask there is, what can you think of with things that you can write with? So a pencil, a pen, chalk, crayons, and so on. So, you know, lots and lots of things here. And the top tip with this is to make sure you change the items in there every so often. So it's a really, really simple activity, but it's a great way for introducing words and even sounds and textures to children. So that is talking bag. So thank you very much for sharing my talking bag with me. I enjoyed seeing what I've got. There's my car. I'm just going to pop my car and pop my glue stick just over here out of the way. So that was lovely, and I hope you enjoyed that with your own talking bag if you had one at home as well. Now then, I wonder how many of you enjoy playing with bricks, so things like Lego or Mega Blocks. So yeah, okay, so let's have a look and see what I have over here. Now I'm hoping you can see all these quite well. Now there's something quite special about these blocks. Can you see? What can you see on them? Actually, there's a word there already, isn't there? So that's right. So all I've done with these is I've taken a little sticky label and I've popped that. You can actually put them on every side if you wanted. And I've written in capital letters here a letter of the alphabet. And that's all I've done with these. And the idea with this is that we're going to see if we can build a word. So the activity is called build a word. So shall we take a sort of fairly simple one to begin with? If I can find, let's have a look and see. So, right, so here we go. So there we have cat. Okay, so we have cat. Now then, that's great. So there's our word. You can see that one okay there, can't you? There's cat. Now then, here are all our blocks. And what we've got to do, we've got to scrabble around and see, and of course you'll have a lot more bricks than this anyway, I'm sure, at home. We've got to try and find the letters that match. So even if you're still very young and you're not quite sure on your letters yet, you're just looking for a matching pattern. So here's one. Now, do you think this letter will match a k, a, or a t? What do we think? Let's have a look at that. Doesn't quite look right, does it, that? That's an E there, or an F. Okay, so what we're looking for is we're looking for a T. Now then, let's move some of these out a little bit so you can see them. If you point and shout and tell me, can you see any letters here that we need to spell cat? What's that? Ah, well spotted. So let's pop that one on here. So we've got our first letter, haven't we? Got K for cat. Excellent. Okay, so now we've got to try and find an A. Oh, what's this one over here? I've just turned over. Now on one side it says a and on the other side it's got an A. So look at that. So let's pop that one on there. There we are. And now we need to try and find a T, isn't it? I think does that look much like a T? I'm not sure. Let's have a look. That's not even a word, is it? K. No. Okay, so it's not that one. Has that got another? Oh, cat. No. What's that? You can see one over here. Oh, look at that. There we are. And there's a cat. So fantastic. So well done. So we've got cat. Well done. Fantastic. Super building. Now, should we do one more? That's a little bit more tricky. Okay, so let's see now then. We've got hand here, but I'd like to try this one. And there's a reason I'd like to try this. So do you know what that says? In, seen. That's right, seen. Actually, there's another word on the back as well. And that's, you know what that one is? Face. That's right. Let's try seen. There's a reason I want to try this one. So there we are. There's seen. So the first letter we need to find is a S, isn't it? Now, can you spot an S on here? A S? Oh, look at that. There we are. Excellent. So there's an S. There we are. Fantastic. Now, we are looking for 2 E's now, aren't we? So let's have a little look and see whether we can find some E's. Anyone seen any yet? That's close, isn't it? But not quite. That's a me, isn't it? M-E. So it's not that one. Okay. Oh, I hope I've got, hang on. Now, what's this green one here? So this is very good, by the way, for colours as well. So if your child's learning colours, you can mix and match your colours for words as well. Look at this. So on this one, rather than just individual blocks like here, we've got some sort of double blocks. And so we can, it's just extending the learning a little bit. So there we've got 2 E's. Look at that. So we're nearly there. That's one word on its own anyway, isn't it? C. So we need one more letter, which is a N, an N. So let's hope we've got one. Otherwise I'm going to be in trouble, aren't I? Let's have a look. Right. Oh, there we are. Fantastic. Seen. Look at that. Seen. Well done. Thank you very much for helping me with that. So mums and dads, this is a really great activity to do, especially for children who like sort of using building blocks. And what you can do is you can focus on letter sounds that you or perhaps your school would like your child to focus on. And of course you can extend this really easily to make bigger words, putting 2 letters together like I've done there, or even 3 letters together, just to extend depending on where your child is at in terms of learning their words. So it is a great activity to do. Now then, I think you've been brilliant helping me with my talking bag and helping me find all these letters. So I think it's time for a song. Now, I know a really good song that has lots of words and sounds in it. And I think you're probably going to know this one because it's all about a bus journey. Can you guess what the song is all about? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a bit of music and I'm going to bring my screen back up so that you can see, I hope, the words to the song. And what we're going to do is we are going to sing along to it. And what I'd like you to do is to do all the actions to it, and you can dance along as well. So we're going to do some actions as well and sing along to the song. So here we go. Let's have a look. There, right. So that's given it away a bit, hasn't it? So you can see what the song is now, which is the Wheels on the Bus. So there we go. I'm just going to bring my music up and we're going to start. So we're ready. I'll sing it along with you and we'll do all the actions together. Are you ready? Here we go. The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round all day long. The wipers on the bus go swish, 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 swish. The wipers on the bus go swish, swish, swish all day long. The horn on the bus goes beep, 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 beep. The horn on the bus goes beep, beep, beep all day long. The doors on the bus, they open and shut, open and shut, open and shut. The doors on the bus, they open and shut all day long. The driver on the bus says, move on back, move on back, move on back. Driver on the bus says move on back. All day long. The baby on the bus says wah 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 wah. The baby on the bus says wah wah all day long. Mummy on the bus says shh, shh, shh. Mummy on the bus says shh all day long. Yeah, well done. And well done for all those brilliant actions as well. You were absolutely fantastic. Well done. So I really hope you enjoyed singing Wheels on the Bus with me. Now then, we've done some great activities learning about words, but I think we should start having a little look at numbers. And I've got some very special things here. So I'm going to pop some of my blocks away so we've got a little bit more room. Let's just have a look. Oops. There we go. Pop all those out of the way. There we go. And I'm going to bring in something very special now then. If you've got this at home, this will be fantastic. Don't worry if you haven't. So I've got 2 paper plates. So if you want to run off and get a couple of paper plates, that'll be fantastic. If you haven't got them, don't worry, because again, you can play with me. You can share my paper plates as well. But I've got something even more special than paper plates. I have pom-poms. That's right. So we've got some brilliant pom-poms. And what we've also got, which you may be able to see just in the corner over here, is we've got some wooden pegs. Now these wooden pegs are very special, can you see? Because they have all got numbers on them. Oops, there we go. They've all got numbers on them. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we are going to sort out, and we're going to do a game called pom-pom numbers. Now pom-poms are great because they're really soft and squidgy, and if you wanted to, you could just do certain color pom-poms. You can do, as you can see here, I've got lots of different shapes and size, or not same shapes but different size pom-poms as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to see if we can count out some pom-poms and do some counting. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this peg, I'm going to pop it at the top of our plate. Can you see that there? So that says the number, what number's that? Number 2. That's right, well done. So I'm going to take some pom-poms, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose 2 of the same color, I think, and I'm going to go 1, 2. There we go. Can you see that? Oh, okay. So there's 2 pom-poms. Now, if you haven't got pom-poms, you don't need to worry too much, because you could use buttons, you could use coins, or you could use paper clips. So anything like that, really, that you've got for your child that's sort of safe for them to use under your supervision. So here we've got 1 paper plate with a clip that says 2, and we've got 2 pom-poms. Fantastic. Okay. So the next one we're going to do is we're going to put a 3 on here. So now we're going to do, shall I see if I can get 3 different colors? Let's have a go. So I've got 1. Let's see, and now this is my favorite color, purple. So let's have a look, see if I can get another one. Oh, well, it's a different size purple, but it doesn't really matter. There we go. 2. And wiggling around in my bag of pom-poms. 3. So here we go. Can you see these? Yeah, you can see these, can't you? So we've got 2 and 3. So that's a sort of fairly elementary start to actually counting out pom-poms and just doing initial counting. Now then, this is where we start to make it a little bit more difficult. We can make it into a sum. So as well as having numbers on our pegs, we also have mathematical signs. So we have a subtraction, a minus, we have an addition or a plus, depending on what you call it. And we should also here have an equal sign as well. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to make a sum. Let's take it on this one. So we are going to have 2 plus, oh, hang on, let me do it the right way. Helps if you clip it on the right way, doesn't it? 2 plus 3 equals. So here's our first sum. 2 plus 3 equals. Now, the quickest way of doing this, we know we've already got 2 pom-poms on here, don't we? Fantastic. And we've got 3 here. Yeah, so we've got 3 on this one. So hopefully you can see this. So I'm going to take these and put it on there. So we've got 1, 2, we've got to put these 3 onto here. So 2, 3, count with me, 4, 5. Oh, so we've got none left on here now. So let's just double count this again, and now we can make the answer, can't we? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 2 plus 3 equals 5. So now we need to find the peg that says 5. And look at that. You've done your first basic sum using pom-poms. How about that? Or as I say, whatever else you think you would like to use like that. So coins or buttons or anything else really. Now, there are lots of ways to extend this activity as well. You could also use things like the colours of the pom-poms. You could get children to go from smaller to large pom-poms, or larger to small pom-poms as well. And obviously you can make the sums much more complicated as well, depending on where your child is at in terms of learning numbers. So well done doing that sum. That's fantastic. Now, the other thing we could do is let's just reverse that one a minute. So if we say 5, where's my little takeaway? We'll just quickly do this one. 5 take away 2. Now that's a different one altogether, isn't it? So 5, so we know we've got 5 on here, don't we? And we're going to take away or minus or subtract 2 equals. So let's see if we can just do that one quickly. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pom-poms here. We're going to take 2 away. Should we take the 2 pink ones away? There we go. 1, 2. And how many does that leave us with? Should we count them? 1, 2. They're lovely and soft and fluffy pom-poms. 3. So 5 minus 2 equals 3. So I just need to find my 3 on my peg, and there we go. Well done. So we've done 2 sums there, haven't we? Well, we've done adding up 2 plus 3, and now we've done 5 take away 2 as well. So we've done some subtraction as well. And as I say, you can make this far more complicated as well in terms of the complexity of the sums, depending on where your child is at, and also, you know, what they're learning at school, what your teacher would like your child to be learning at home. Now then, I know a brilliant counting song that involves speckled frogs. Now, do you know how to jump about like a frog, all on all fours? Rabbit, 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 like that. So what I want you to do with this is I want you to watch the video and sing along with it if you can, and count, because this is called 5 speckled frogs. But I want you to jump around like the frogs as well, okay? And see if you can pretend that you're bouncing off and leapfrogging off the wall, just like the speckled frogs are. So we're going to watch a video now called 5 Little Speckled Frogs.
5 little speckled frogs sat on a speckled log, eating some most delicious bugs. Yum, yum. One jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Now there are 4 green speckled frogs. Glub, glub. Four little speckled frogs sat on a speckled log, eating some most delicious bugs. Yum, yum. One jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Now there are 3 green speckled frogs. Glub, glub. Three little speckled frogs sat on a speckled log, eating some most delicious bugs. Yum, yum. One jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Now there are 2 green speckled frogs. Glub, glub. speckled frogs sat on a speckled log, eating some most delicious bugs. Yum, yum. One jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Now there is one green speckled frog. Glub, glub. One little speckled frog sat on a speckled log, eating some most delicious bugs. Yum, yum. One jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Now there are no green speckled frogs. Glub, glub.
Well done. So I hope you enjoyed hopping around like those little speckled frogs on a speckled log. So that's a great way of learning to count from 1 to 5. So well done. Now then, I've got one more activity that I'd like to do with you on numbers, and this one is called mix and match. Now, numbers appear in very many different forms. So I'm just going to share my screen with you again, and we can just have a little look at that. There we go. Okay, so numbers, as I say, appear in many different forms, as you can see here. So written numbers can look quite different to numbers that are represented in forms such as, say, dice or triangles or shapes and things like that. And visual representations of numbers need to be learnt by young children. So if you look at things like the dots on a dice, for example, there's a really fun active game called Spot the Dots. Now, I've included this on your handout for today, and it's lots and lots of fun. It's a very active game, and it's well worth trying because it helps your child connect written numbers, so numbers that are written down, like we've got the 3 here, with the visual ones as well. And you can see on this slide there are lots of different number forms. We've got shapes and triangles and squares and things like that. We've got word form where the number is written out as a word as a whole. We've got typed numbers, we have tallies, we have number lines. So there's lots and lots of different things for children to learn and understand how numbers appear in their different form. So I've got an activity now to show you. As I say, it's called mix and match. So the first thing, excuse me, to do is we get a little jar like this, and we get some little sort of lollipop sticks. And what we do is we write on some actions, some sort of animal action. So I've got here gallop like a horse, kangaroo jump, waddle like a duck, crawl like a crab. So lots of sort of interesting movements and animal movements we can do. And there's also 2 or 3 in here, I'm hoping I can find them, which will again have different mathematical symbols. We've got an addition there, and we've also got an equals symbol there as well. So all you need to do is have basically a little jar like this. You don't have to do it like this. You could just put them written down on a piece of paper for your child to pull out, but lollipop sticks are quite fun. And then what you'll see over here is we've got some sticky notes, and they're really cheap and cheerful to get. And what we do is we put the sticky notes on one side of the room. So if you've got a nice big sort of room, or you could even play this outside as well. It's a great game for playing outside. So one side of the room or one part of the area outside, you're going to line up all your sticky notes with the written numbers. So here we've got 3, 7, 5, 6 and 2. You can probably just about make those out there. And then what we've got is we've got these wonderful little actions that we're going to do. But what we've then got are these, which are basically the numbers in different forms. So if we took the number 3, there is that. Can you see that one? That's the number 3, isn't it? That's number 3 written down. Now this is also 3 because these are 3. What shape is that? What shape is that? It's a triangle. That's right. So we've got 3 triangles, and we've got 3 dots. That's right. And we've also got the word written down as well. So we've got that number word written down in full as well as 3. So we've got lots of different choices here. So what we're going to do, let's take the number 5 because I've got lots of choices here. So I've got a number line. Let's have a look. What else have we got? We've got a number line there. We have 5 fingers. Yeah, that's a good one. We've got 5 triangles. We've got the typed number 5 because that often looks a little bit different as well. And we've got something called a tally. Okay, so that's a great one. So what you do is your child, basically you choose, or your child can choose, let's say this one. Okay, so this is a tally. Basically you give them that and they have to run over to the other side of the room or the other side of the area that's outside, and they've got to try and match this to the right number that's written down here. But here's the thing, they've got to do it in a way that depends on what they've pulled out from here. So should we have a go and see what we're going to pull out? Right, let's have a look. Oh, look at this. Here's the first one. So I hope you're ready for this. So how many of you can do bunny hops? I hope lots of you can do bunny hops. My favorite. I love little rabbits. So there we are. So we've got to, so the bigger the space you can play this in, obviously the more active the game is going to be. So using bunny hops only, I need you, so imagine you've got this in your hand, you've got a bunny hop all the way around the room or over into the open space, and you've got to try and find the number on here that matches. I want you to have a good look at this. Now, what number do you think that represents? Can you see? Now, it's called a tally. Some of you may have heard of these, some of you may not yet, depending on how old you are. Now, let's have a look. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 going across there, 5. So we have to, in bunny hops only, go along and see if we can find. So here we go. So off you go, bunny hop around the room. That's it. Well done. And let's see. So off you go, Bonehead bunny hop. Now then, do we think it matches there? That's, can we see that one? That's the number 3. No, I don't think so. What about this one? Number 7. No, that's not 7, is it? Ah, what about this one? What number's that? Number 5. That's right. And that's how many? 5. That's right. So we're going to match that one to there. So you've got a bunny hop back over, and now we're going to have a different one. So let's have a look. Let's have a think about this one. I'm going to add an extra number on here just to keep you on your toes. Now this is quite tricky. So again, mums and dads, lots of ways to extend this activity and make it, you know, harder for children. So this time we are going to, waddle like a duck. Whack, whack. Do you know how a duck waddles? They go waddle, 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 don't they? So now we're going to be moving like a duck. And this time, well, look at these. We've got, now this is an interesting shape. Can you count how many lines it's got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's got 8 sides, hasn't it? Not lines, 8 sides. Okay, so there we go. We've got 8 green bottles. We've got a tally, which is a tally of 8. We've got the number 8 written down, and this time we've got a number line with the number 8 circled as well. So let's make it tricky. Let's lose the shape. How about that? So this is called an octagon because it's got 8 sides. Now then, using, how was it? Can you remember? What was the one? Waddle like a duck. So you've got to waddle like a duck, and you've got to run around, waddle like a duck, holding this or imagining you've got this. And now you need to find the number 8. Oh my goodness, and see if we can match it up. So here we go. Off you go, go waddle around. There we are. Now then, we've got to match it. So we've got, what's this one? What that number is? It's a number 7, isn't it? That's quite close to an 8, but not quite. Okay. And here we've got a number just at the end, number 2. And you can put these post-it notes anywhere you like. You can put them up high so they've got a stretch. You can put them up low. You can even hide the post-it notes. That adds another sort of dimension to the game as well. It's great fun. It's great fun, you know, for parents, teachers doing it in a classroom, but it's also great fun for children at home as well. Now then, let's have a look. What's this number? Now, does that number look like this? That's a good question, isn't it? Now, it doesn't really, does it? Because it just doesn't look the same. But we know that it's a number formation because it's got 8 lines, 8 sides. I keep saying lines, don't I? 8 sides. There we go. And so actually, there you are. There's your matching formation. Okay. So well done. So I hope you enjoyed waddling like a duck, trying to find the right number. Now, as I say, there's lots of different forms that numbers take. So really well done for helping me play mix and match. And I'm just going to show you my screen again and just extend this one. One moment. Hang on a minute. Right, my screen has decided to stop working, so just bear with me a moment. Hang on. Oh. There we go. Hang on. I'm just going to share this again. There we go. Okay, that's better. Sometimes these things got a habit of not always working. So there we go. So the other thing you can do is there's lots of ways to extend this activity as well. So it can work really well using words and pictures. So you could use, for example, as it says here, picture form of a horse. And you could write the word horse on a sticky note and then have different pictures of different animals, and they have to choose the right animal and basically go and match that up with the word horse. So depends on, you know, the sort of age and ability of your child. As your child becomes more confident, you know, I mentioned that we've got these additions and subtractions and different mathematical terms on the lollipop sticks as well. You could try here. So as you can see here, we've got 3 dots plus the word written down in full and number 2 written down in full. So we've got 3 plus 2 equals, and then you've got the answer there as well. So that's similar to what we did on the pom-poms, wasn't it? So 3 plus 2 equals 5. So you're really getting them to learn and become familiar with the number formation. So that's just an interesting way of extending that particular activity. Now, numbers really are everywhere. So if you're in the house or you're out and about, try to point out numbers in their different forms, and you can focus on numbers your child is learning at school, or you can extend that learning, as I've said earlier. Now, examples of this might be, for example, perhaps there are 3 apples in your fruit bowl. You might see 10 trees or lined up together, or you might see 5 cars in a row. So lots of things as you're out and about, to actually lots of ways to bring numbers into your child's learning. You can get your child to count with you, and you can make it into a game. So for example, who can be the first to find something that includes the number 3 next time? So it might be 3 green sweets, for example. So, you know, lots of ways to make it into a game, particularly if you've got different children, children of different ages as well. And you can make it, as I say, a little bit harder or a little bit easier depending on the ages of your children. I've just got one more thing I'd like to cover before we close and look at questions, any questions and answers that you might have. And I just want to say a little bit about sequencing. So again, I'm going to try and share my screen again, if I can. It's not playing as quite as, oops, one moment. No, I've disappeared completely. Bear with me a second. There we go. Right. Okay. So there we are. Sometimes technology isn't always what we want it to be, is it? Okay. So sequencing. There we go. Okay. So the thing about sequencing is that it's really important for children to learn because it helps them understand patterns and to put things like events and thoughts and actions into a sort of a logical order. And it helps them understand the world, basically, and how the world works. And it can be really good also for developing things like fine motor skills. Now, it depends what you've got at home, but you could mix up, say, a range of bottle tops or buttons, or as I've done here on that picture. In fact, I've got them over here, lots of different size paper clips as well, or sticks of differing lengths, anything like that, really. And you could get your child to sort them into a size from smallest to largest, and you can reverse that game then from largest to smallest. One of my top tips for this is, if you're going to do that, so that picture that you saw on the slide with the paper clips, so one of the best things you can do is basically get a piece of paper like this, there we go, and draw a straight line on it. And then it just makes it so much easier for children to line up when they're sort of putting their paper clips or their bottle tops in size order. Now I've just got my little piece of wood here, but you can see how easy it is to match up against there, and it's going to be much easier for them to put those into sequence, into an order. So that's just a top tip. Get a piece of paper and just draw a straight line before they start their sequencing of their paper clips or their bottle tops. So there you go, quick top tip there. Now, sequencing, such as sort of putting things in order and so on, you can also do this with everyday tasks, so things like making a sandwich. So again, on the handout, I've put together some sequencing cards for you, and all you have to do there is basically print it out, cut out the sequencing cards, and then the best thing to do is really get your child to have a go at seeing if they can put it in the order that you actually make a sandwich. So sort of getting the bread, buttering the bread, putting the fillings in and chopping it up. So you know, the key with anything like sequencing from big to small, small to big, making a sandwich or whatever it is that they're learning, is repetition. And really, if you can also talk through first, so model what it is you want your child to learn, that's going to be really helpful as well. So as I say, I've also got these sequencing cards. It's all about making a cheese sandwich, and you can encourage your child to fill in the gaps first rather than sort of expecting them to get it right first time. So I think that's enough of me talking. You've all done really well. So we've done lots of things. If you go right back to the beginning of this session, we were doing the talking bag, and we had these wonderful bricks as well, didn't we? Do you remember those as well, in terms of building words? We've done pom-poms, we've done mix and match, we've done lots of sort of active words and number games. So I've got one last song that I'd like us to have a go at singing along, and I want us to get us moving as well and help us to see if we can count from 1 to 10. I'd like to see you dancing, because we've got 10 green bottles. And the thing about these 10 green bottles is they all have their own kind of way of dancing. So I want to see if you can have a go at dancing in the same way that the 10 green bottles dance, and also have a go at counting. Now, in this case, we're going to be counting down from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And see what happens when we get to the last green bottle. So we're going to just have a couple of minutes on a great video called 10 Green Bottles.
Jellybug!
10 green bottles dancing on a wall. 10 green bottles dancing on a wall. And if one green bottle bottles should accidentally fall. There'll be 9 green bottles dancing on a wall. 9 green bottles dancing on a wall. 9 green bottles dancing on a wall. And if 1 green bottle should accidentally fall, there'll be 8 green bottles dancing on a wall. 8 green bottles dancing on a wall. 8 green bottles dancing on a wall. And if 1 green bottle should accidentally fall, there'll be 7 green bottles dancing on a wall. 7 green bottles dancing on a wall. 7 green bottles dancing on a wall. And if 1 green bottle should accidentally fall, there'll be 6 green bottles dancing on a wall. 6 green bottles dancing on a wall. 6 green bottles dancing on a wall. And if 1 green bottle should accidentally fall, there'll be 5 green bottles dancing on a wall. 5 green bottles dancing on a wall. 5 green bottles dancing on a wall. And if 1 green bottle should accidentally fall, there'll be 4 green bottles dancing on a wall. 4 green bottles dancing on a wall. 4 green bottles dancing on a wall. And if 1 green bottle should accidentally fall, there'll be 3 green bottles dancing on a wall. 3 green bottles dancing on a wall. 3 green bottles dancing on a wall. And if 1 green bottle should accidentally fall, there'll be 2 green bottles dancing on a wall. 2 green bottles dancing on a wall. 2 green bottles dancing on a wall. And if 1 green bottle should accidentally fall, there'll be 1 green bottle dancing on a wall. 1 green bottle dancing on a wall. 1 green bottle dancing on a wall. And if that green bottle should accidentally fall, there'll be no green bottles dancing on a wall.
Subscribe for Jellybug.
Wow, that was fantastic dancing. Well done. Super, super fast song as well, isn't it? And I hope you managed to count all those bottles. So I'm just going to share with you some of my final top tips. So here we go. Lovely. Okay. There we go. So here's some top tips from the session today. The first thing is to follow your child's lead. Try to go at their pace. You know, it's really important. They're going to be learning, but it's really important it's a pace that suits them. Bite-sized chunks of learning are best. And if you can try and build number and word learning into everyday situations, whether you're at home or out and about, using some of the ideas I've given you today, that's going to be great. You know, just looking at words and numbers all around you, but obviously do go at their pace. Be flexible with the activities. You know, some activities will work better than others. So, for example, for children who are learning to read and learning words, some children prefer things to be read out loud to them first. And there's a certain amount of sort of trial and error for each child for you to work out what's best for your child. But if you can be flexible about how they learn, not every child is going to learn in the same way. That would be really, really helpful. I've mentioned this before, linking learning to what interests them and also everyday situations. So if you've got a birthday coming up, have a countdown to their birthday. Or if they're wearing a shirt in the morning and they've got buttons, get them to count how many buttons they have on their shirt. And you know, we talked about, we had the toy car in my talking bag, and you can look at how many wheels are on their toy cars or other toys that they might have. So lots of ways to link learning of words and numbers to everyday situations. And, you know, supposing they have an interest in, I don't know, water or something like that, you know, there's ways to bring maths into that to help them learn and calculate things like volumes of water if they like fish in aquariums and things like that. So it's looking for ways to connect with your child in ways that sort of interest them. And the most important thing is to remember that if they're having fun, then they are learning. And young children particularly have what we call schematic play. And schematic play is where they repeat things over and over again. Now, I can see some parents probably rolling their eyes at that. And I know as a mum myself, I've definitely experienced that and thinking, I don't think we can read this story for about the 50th time or sing Baby Shark for the 20th time, but you do. And the reason you do is because you know it's good for your child. Schematic play or repetitive learning is really how children learn best. And the thing about practice is practice makes progress, and that's really, you know, my biggest sort of top tip when it comes to learning words and numbers. So I've mentioned about handouts today as I've gone along, so I just want to very quickly mention again. So on the handouts today, you're going to have words and numbers. So there's going to be the activities on there. So some of the ones that we've covered today, plus some extra ones as well. I've got links to all the numbers and words and sound songs. Some we've looked at today, but other ones as well. You've got something called Spot the Dots template, which is a great game. So you've got access to that. I've got the sequencing ideas and cards, and also I've put something called star reader. Now this is particularly good. It's a great way of getting children involved in reading, and a great way to encourage children to read in all sorts of ways. So you can print this off. This is on a handout, and basically they cross off each activity as they've done. It says lots here: read in your pajamas, read in the dark with a torch, read on a rainy day, measure your shortest book, measure your tallest book, read a book which has an animal in the story. There's lots and lots of ideas here for ways to read, and you basically cross off each one as they've completed them, and then when they've completed all of the activities, they become a star reader, and then it's up to you. You can give them a little reward if you like for completing the activities. It's optional, but that would be a nice surprise. So that's a great little bonus handout that I've put on there for you. So we've come to the end of the webinar now. We've got about 5 minutes left for me to be able to answer any questions. So what I'm going to do now is basically check on the chat and see if I've got any questions coming in. So we've got about 5 minutes, and then I'll just finish off briefly, just telling you a little bit about the next session that I'm going to be running. So if you want to just raise your hand or post a question, anything you like about anything that we've covered today, I'll be very happy to answer your questions. Don't worry if we run over, because I can stay on for a little bit and make sure every question gets answered. So let's just have a look and see if we've got any questions. I know someone did raise their hand earlier, but that seems to have been sorted out now, so that might have been a technical problem. So I'll just give you a minute or two or a few moments just to put your any questions and answers that you might have. Have you got any questions for me at the moment about anything that we've covered about learning words and numbers? Okay, just wait for a minute and see if we've got anything coming in. So I have got one question here, which I was asked actually before the session, which is how long should I spend with my child helping them learn words and numbers? So that's a good question. And, you know, I talked about going at the sort of pace of your child. The key with this is be led by your child. You'll soon know, you know, if they're enjoying it, you will absolutely know about it, and they'll love sort of repeating activities as well, and that's absolutely fine. You know, I talked about schematic play and how children like to repeat, so that's great. It may be that they're not enjoying it quite as much, and if they're fairly young, you know, if it's sort of lower end of this session, really sort of 2.5, 3 years of age, it might be just 5 or 10 minutes of learning words and numbers is enough. Generally speaking, at that age, it's a good idea to sort of chunk activities up into sort of 5 or 10 minute blocks. So as I say, especially for smaller children. Now, you can see in this webinar what I did. We did some activities, and then we had some videos, and we had some songs. So breaking up the learning in that way. Often, it's great if we can get children learning without them even realizing that they're doing it, with things like singing, 5 speckled frogs or 10 green bottles, and making it active for them, getting their body moving. That's a great way of keeping the learning. So I have another 2 questions that have come in. The first one says, my child gets easily distracted and doesn't focus well when they're learning words or numbers. Is there anything I can do to help? So yeah, absolutely. If they seem to be disinterested, then, as I've talked about earlier in the webinar, trying to make the connection with their interests and what particularly interests them is a really sort of good place to start. But if it's that they're just sort of like, they can perhaps be a bit of a fidget, then there are things that you can do. You can get things like a sort of squishy stress ball, so that they can sort of use that as they're learning their words and numbers, so it takes away the sort of fidgety side of them, really. The other thing is, if they're sat at a table, you could get pieces of Velcro, and you could put 2 pieces sort of either side, and they can just use the Velcro, sort of pulling it on and pulling it off, and it just sort of takes that fidgety sort of bit part of them sort of away, to help their brain sort of focus on the words and numbers, really, and just make sure that they are comfortable in terms of where they're sitting. Even better, given that the session today was all about active learning of words and numbers, keep them as busy as you can, keep their bodies busy, getting them to do the sort of things that we looked at today, sort of bunny hops and kangaroo jumps and those sort of things. The mix and match activity is a really good one for that, and also the spot the dots activity, which I've included in the handout. That's a really good one for keeping fidgets busy and getting them to learn at the same time. So I hope that's helpful. Finally, I've also got a question here that says, my child doesn't seem to learn anything when it's written down. They struggle to remember anything and sort of stay focused. What can I do? So it may be for your particular child that trying to learn things which are sort of written down, that perhaps just isn't the best way for them to learn at that particular time. You remember I talked about sort of being flexible with the way in which your child learns and the sort of type of activities. There are examples where I've known where children just would much rather have, for example, words read out loud to them as a way of them working and learning words, rather than actually trying to read them. And I know parents have basically got into the habit of sort of reading out loud to their child first, and that's worked really well for them. So I think it's really about finding other ways, rather than sort of pushing for them to learn things in the written word, which in that particular stage for your child, they're either not enjoying or they're finding difficult. So things like being able to sort of read out loud would be a really useful way to try to support your child with that. So I hope that's really helpful, and I hope you really enjoyed the session today and got lots of top tips and ideas to be active and learning words and numbers through active play at home. So that's all we've got time for. Shukran. Thank you very much for joining me today. I'm delighted to say that on Tuesday the 27th of October I'm going to be running another webinar, and this time it's just for parents, and it's all about screen-free play. It's going to be packed with lots of easy screen-free play ideas, but also giving you some top tips on how to get smart with screen time for your child. So please do register for that, and hopefully you'll be able to join me on the 27th of October. So I hope to see you again. Shukran, ma salama.